पागल हो गया है। ओहो सर जी, मैं तो नहीं कर पाऊंगा। दिस इज हाईली अनलाइकली।
There's something about this middle session of the Trent Bridge test. Either everybody gets out or nobody gets out. For the second time in this test match and for the first time in this series for England, we have had a wicketless session. So the fight goes on and the inevitable, if it is the inevitable, is somewhat delayed. 173 for 4 are England, 89 runs in 27 overs. Most importantly, the only number that counts is no wickets to fall. Still Ben Stokes and Josh Buttler hanging out. Akash Chopra and Steve Harmison with me, as well as Nagaraj Golapudi will join us from Trent Bridge. Or should we entertain some other possibilities, or are Stokes and Buttler just making you work one more day?
I think it's a conspiracy to make us work a little longer, more than me. See, I can always cancel my dinner plans or lunch plans for tomorrow. I'm feeling for Steve Harmison there because he's got a slightly urgent matter to address, but I think it will get over. If not tonight, I think last session will produce some wickets and it can be an extended session if a result is in sight. But if not, then maximum by tomorrow.
You've just taken away all of England's credit from that fine session of Ben. You're just
know,
saying whatever their hard work is going to be messed up next session. Steve Harmison, this test is a lot about taking individual, having individual takeaways for individuals, and Ben Stokes spending some time at the crease, Josh Buttler having a long innings, little things that that England can still take forward.
Yeah, they've played really well. The two, Stokes and Buttler, they've played fantastically well. I wouldn't say India have bowled badly. I think it was 89 runs in the session, means that the game hasn't gotten away from India. Ashwin looks as though he's not fully fit, which is probably having an effect on his bowling. The seamers have put the ball in the right area, like England did. You know, the majority of the time. It's just the batsmen have done well in this session, and we just not get carried away when you're as an England fan, because you know one wicket becomes two and two could become five very, very quickly, and England get rolled over. So while these are doing well, it's still a very, very India in a fantastic position. But there's confidence going into the rest of the series that Buttler and Stokes are getting some runs, which is good for England.
Okay, well, I'm delighted to also be joined by Deputy Editor Nagaraj Golapudi, who's got a bird's eye view of this test match. Steve Harmison makes the point, Nagaraj, of Ashwin not looking absolutely fit. He's bowled 9 overs in this session. From whatever you've observed, not just while he's bowling, but in and around the field, he's not looking the same, Ashwin?
No, he's definitely not looking the same, Ashwin. It started from the morning when I observed him, like he had a very light training, he barely bowled, and eventually, like when he did bowl, he bowled off just without any run-up, and so he looked in discomfort. What is good for India is like he's still kind of able to beat the outsiders, especially of Ben Stokes, so there will be some sort of confidence India would carry. I mean, this was bound to happen. There's some sort of rear guard, and Buttler and Stokes are popular for that. Like, I think the stats show that Buttler has been one of England's best lower order guys, in the sense like he can bat out a session. Yes, England, I think what England have done is they've softened the blow. Yeah, batted out their first session this match, or in fact this series, if I'm not wrong, which India have done twice. So this is a challenge for the bowlers. I don't think this will kind of be as frustrating for India as that was at Edgbaston in the second innings, which is not possible that England are going to win this. But yeah, so they have softened the blow. That's how I can put it.
Okay, looking at how Ashwin is bowling, and he did have the closest moments, you could say, of this innings, the review that didn't go his way, beat the bat a couple of times. But would you bowl Ashwin? I mean, is it so imperative for Kohli to bowl Ashwin, given there are 2 tests, he's looking visibly in discomfort? Would you not just rotate the seamers around?
No, I think he's not entirely fit, but he's like 70% fit, and he will have to take that risk only because there is, as you see, enough rough around at that end which Ashwin is trying to exploit is. And if you look at the weather now, it started as a gloomy, cloudy day, and now it's completely sunny. So I think the first session or the first time in this match where it's been this sunny and this warm. So I think Kohli, it is right to bowl Ashwin. I don't think it is not a risk. I don't think because there's a break also coming after the test. So yeah, it's worth taking that risk.
Okay, and lastly, as you pointed out, it's gotten hotter. We're seeing Mohammad Shami just get a little bit of tail in. So from whatever you've seen, the Indian team working on the ball in all legitimate means possible to try and get it to reverse a bit.
Did Bumrah try that? I mean, he was not successful. But as Michael Holding was saying in the commentary, I think they have to mix it up. They have to just stay patient. They can't kind of get, frustrated just because wickets are not coming. They will need to somehow cap the run flow, which is kind of, I mean, these guys are picking up the boundaries frequently. So yeah, I mean, they will have to apply some sort of pressure and not kind of lose momentum. Otherwise, kind of, I mean, they should kind of go at like, I think in the next 2 hours the match should ideally be over, but they just need that one wicket.
I was going to ask you for a gut prediction, even you're more or less right on those, on whether this resistance will take us to another day, but you've already given me that. So you do still fancy that we could have a finish today, Nagraj, as I sign off from you?
Yeah, as much as I hate it because it will be a very long evening then, I feel that, I mean, one wicket and yeah, one wicket and India will make the inroads. Yeah, that's it. That's
very
my
well.
prediction.
Thank you very much, Nagraj Golapuri, Deputy Editor, ESPN Cricket, for joining us from Trent Bridge. And of course, we do know that Johnny Bairstow, you can minus that one wicket unless England decide that it is absolutely necessary that he has a bat. Let's take off from those comments with Akash and Steve now. Mixing it up, you saw Mohammad Shami get a little bit of tail. That could be key now to the breakthrough for this partnership.
You know, it's also a natural break that has happened. So tea break means the batsman will have to come out again and start afresh. It's not easy, and that's why Test cricket is so fascinating. That the natural breaks in concentration in the game that allows both teams to again reassess strategies from batsman's point of view. You have to start afresh. Bowlers get a little bit of a rest, and then they can also have some amount of feedback coming in, what to do, what not to do, and so on and so forth. So I think this session should produce wickets, and Shami has looked very good, and he's not bowled too many overs either. So once the ball is reverse swinging, he is the man to go to, and so will be Bumrah sooner than later. But the only thing that Virat will have to now look back and just think about the length of that first spell that Bumrah bowled. Because if you allow your faster bowler to bowl 8, 9, 10 overs in a spell, it becomes almost impossible for him to come back with the same vengeance, with the same kind of venom in the same session. It's just very difficult for a fast bowler to do so, who's bowling at that pace. So that's something that he'll look into once again. But I think a wicket will come. That's Test cricket. You will have a partnership. Eventually, you'll also have a break of that partnership.
All right. Now, the managing of the fast bowlers is always a challenge for a captain, and especially a subcontinent captain overseas where he plays a lot of fast bowlers. Steve, if there is a criticism of Virat Kohli, do you see it's in the line of how he manages his fast bowlers? Really long spell for Bumrah in the morning. Shami brought in late. Just 5 overs for Ishant Sharma right after the lunch break. Didn't see him after. How would you assess Kohli's managing of his fast bowlers?
Yeah, there's an argument for bowling a bowler too long, but there's also an argument to say, well, you've got 4 fast bowlers, so you've got 4. So if one's going well, why don't you keep him going, and then you can manoeuvre the other 3. The thing that he's been not let down with, because Ashwin hasn't bowled. He hasn't bowled badly. He's bowled Ravi Ashwin's bowled 13 overs, so he's bowled his quota of overs. You see that with England. You see Stuart Broad will bowl a long first spell, and he'll not bowl much in the middle session. He'll bowl a lot in the end. at the end session. So you've got 4 fast bowlers, it's how you manage them. Some bowlers do bowl better into their 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th over. It takes them a while to get going in the first bit. So as long as your sort of bowler looks fresh, if he looks tired after 4 overs and you're bowling him and then he's still bowling after 8 overs, then that's probably poor captaincy, because you know he's not going to recover and come back. But if somebody's hitting the straps and bowling well and bowling quickly and looks as though they're troubling the batsman, you know, the management for the rest of the day is, well, we can keep him going, push him to one side for a little bit in the middle session, and then bring him back, you know, towards the back end of the middle session, and then for the fit and firing and fresh for the last session. So it is difficult to understand when the bowler's tired and when he's actually looking dangerous. So, but I think it comes down to now whether this ball is going to reverse swing, and it's going to reverse swing big, because if it is, he's going to have to use his seamers more than he uses Ravi Ashwin, because even though Ashwin's not fully fit, he was bowling at 2 and over and holding an end up, which still kept the control and still kept things dangerous.
Sure.
If you've got 2 seamers on either end and they're attacking, especially against Butler and Stokes, and they don't get it quite right, they could go at 4.5, 5 and over, and that might just take the pressure off England going into this last session.
I think that's a nice chat to have, actually, especially with Steve and you too, Akash, knowing the Indian bowlers. Are these bowlers the kind that might actually get better, deeper into their spell? Because he points out Stuart Broad. We know Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad at times love just bowling when they're in that groove and that rhythm. But knowing Bumrah, knowing Ishant Shami with his history of injuries, can we say that that you can bank on these guys to actually bowl long spells and get better as they bowl?
You know, it also depends. One thing that Steve mentioned, are they looking tired? Second is, even if you're cranking the same kind of pace, are you still effective enough? If the answer to that question is a yes, then you may want to give an over or 2 extra. But then eventually managing a bowler is also equally important with regards to the length of that spell, because when the ball starts reversing and if your bowler is not fresh, then you have an issue, because even I can reverse swing the ball at 110k, but it's half as effective if it's been bowled at 140k. So you need to have a bowler fresh enough to bowl at 140k consistently when the ball is started reversing. So he's done that with Shami. So maybe he's identified Shami as one bowler who's supposed to share most of the workload when the ball gets old and it starts reversing. Bumrah is another guy who you want to go to. Ishant Sharma is not your ideal reverse swing bowler, because he does not bowl the ball full enough. He doesn't bowl those Yorkers either. So you'd rather go to Bumrah and Mohammad Shami, and let's have someone like a Hardik Pandya as your release bowler who can actually just provide you discipline. Yes, got 5 wickets in the first innings, but it's not going to happen every single time. So use him as a bowler who can be as your defensive option, and others are attacking.
Tell me, Steve, how did you best like being managed, or who from the captains that you played under managed a quartet of fast bowlers best? You played with the likes of Hoggard and Simon Jones and Andrew Flintoff, yourself. Any way of a captain that stood out and how he best got the best out of each fast bowler?
Well, we had obviously Michael Vaughan was the captain of the 2005 Ashes series, and a lot of the time you would bowl, if we had any indication that the ball was going to reverse swing, myself and Matthew Hoggard would bowl longer spells when it wasn't reverse swinging, or potentially trying to get it to reverse swing. So, for instance, if we got any indication that we thought it was going to start reverse swinging, I'd bowl 4 bounces and over cross seam, trying to get the rough side roughed up by hitting the middle of the pitch, using my strength, which is my height, and the bounce, and then as soon as the ball had any indication reverse swing, then that's when Flintoff and Simon Jones, who were reverse swing bowlers, they would bowl their long spells during that period of time. So it's a case of managing that. I played with Dale Benkenstein, who was a fantastic captain at Durham, but I was somebody who liked to bowl long spells. My first ever captain was David Boone, but sometimes I was always worried that Booney was standing at slip and whether he was awake or not, because I was getting into my 7th, 8th and 9th over and looking over to him, and I'm absolutely out on my feet, completely knackered, and I'm looking at him and thinking, is he awake behind them sunglasses or what? I'm still bowling here, but it taught me a lot. It got me stamina up, and he was awake. He just thought it was a learning curve for a young fast bowler. That's what he always said to me.
I'm sure that's how he said it. He's got a hard job of being awake as match referee these days, David Boone. It's an equally challenging job. It's sometimes in Test cricket, but anyway, you've never had that privilege in first class cricket in India to captain 4 fast bowlers.
No. We at most we'll have 3 of them for Delhi, because we never had great spinners.
Yeah.
But then never had the luxury of having 4 bowlers. If there was a situation where we actually played 4 fast bowlers, the match got over in 1.5 2 days max.
Something like that, yeah. All right, short stuff possibly to try out.
So that's another option when you're trying to get the ball to reverse swing. But now it's what we have seen so far in that latter half of the second session, that the ball had started reverse swinging quite decently. So once that's the case, you don't really bowl a lot of like a barrage of short pitch stuff, because then you're actually wasting that delivery. But then you can still use it every now and then just to keep the batsman honest, keep them pushing back, so that the full ball is more effective. So you can use these strategies, but I wouldn't expect just a short ball theory with a bouncer trap. That's not. I don't think the game is standing there where you need to do that.
And the question I put to Nagaraj about the use of Ashwin, you can still bowl Hardik Pandya one and hold him up. I know this is a bit of rough, but looking at Ashwin, if he does any more damage to that, is it worth employing Ashwin?
See, again, I think the answer or the decision lies with not just the captain but also Ashwin. How comfortable is he to bowl those overs? Because you're not talking about a rookie who's playing first or second test match, and he's just been guided by what the captain thinks is right. He, of course, will have an input that I'm able to do it. I'm about 70% fit. I can give you these many overs. If he can't, he will put his hand up and say, that's it, Virat, not more, because I might just risk an injury for the next test match. And he is valuable to this Indian team. So I think what's been done right now is just about appropriate, because Ashwin must be on board with the number of overs that he's been asked to bowl.
All right, Stephen, who takes the bowling responsibilities immediately after 18 overs to the new ball? Would you start with Shami with the reverse he's getting and keep a spinner on, or start with pace after tea?
No, I think you've got to go with your two. I think you've got to go with your 2 opening bowlers. So you've got to go whoever's going to open the bowling. You've got to have a short burst from him. So that would be Sharma, and then you've got to go with Shami because he's your best reverse swing bowler, and then quickly get Boomer in for Sharma, and then obviously Ashwin for the last sort of 7-8 overs from one end. Then gear up for that new ball. You might not need to take the new ball because it might be reverse swinging, and that might be looking dangerous. But you've got to get it. They've got to stay patient. If they don't stay patient with Butler and Stokes, they could go at 5 or 6 and over to take the pressure off England.
That's one possibility. Lack of patience shown in some of the reviews that were being taken. I said at the early part of the innings, I'd like to see many slips throughout. In the 57th over, one went through third slip, but there wasn't a third slip. Would you put one?
No. You need to be slightly more prudent about what you do. Yes,
520 runs to play with.
See, but you still need to put fielders where you think catches are likely to go. If the ball is reverse swinging, you don't need 3 slips. Your 2 slips, 2.5 slips are fine. You need a catching at mid-wicket, a catching at square leg maybe, because that's where the catches are likely to go.
Last session of the test match, yes or no, coming up?
Yes. In hope.
So 5 to 6 wickets will fall depending on best. So Steve Armisen, yes or no, final session of this test match?
I think yes, because if you get a wicket in the first 5-6 overs.
Right, Steve. Thank you very much. Got to cut you off there. See you again at the end of this session.